on spring break starting Friday.
Going to be working from home for at least a month, so that will be interesting to get used to.
Is this because of the
Yep. Welcome back.
Okay, that was weird. I think I don't know. I don't see any lights on the router, but according to my app, the router is functioning, and I could still hear you all that whole time. So that's why I had no idea that anything happened. So I don't know what's going to happen with the. Is the stream active again?
Yeah, I can see a picture.
Okay, it'll probably be 2 files. That'll be annoying. Yeah, I think something strange just happened with my router, but I don't know exactly what. Any event, sorry about that. Okay, I think the last thing that I had said when the router crashed out was that she had turned to Jebel and said, "Are you looking to engage me for services rendered?" Because this one would be more than happy to help you acquire whatever it is you need.
Yeah, he took my money. I think he took Yukikazu's money as well.
Interesting.
But he took my money.
Can you tell this one what this elf is like that she is looking for?
I suppose I'll describe him to the best of my ability.
About midway through your description, as she's like nodding with a slight smile on her face, it kind of turns to a frown. She says, Are you describing Rodal?"
And I'll just kind of like look over to Laramen and says, "Was that his name?"
Sam believes so.
Didn't you get the name from Dusty just now and said, I should remember that?
Yeah.
I immediately forgot.
Out of character, I actually forgot his name. I was going to do that thing where it's like, I would go like, what? I'm looking for elf named, and then I kind of look over and just look at Laramendis.
That slimy snake and his dirty magic. Where should she start looking?
I don't know. We wait till tomorrow. I should be able to find him if he's still in the city. Unless, Leah, do you know that guy?
Why would Leah know him?
No. I can't remember if she was there when I was there.
Regardless, I know what you're thinking. If we want any shot at, getting back what used to be ours, then I don't suggest going and pushing any extra magic buttons.
I have a feeling I know how that's going to end, and it's probably not good, but...
I would still suggest best behaviors, at least until after we meet.
Where are we planning to go after this, anyway? Have we decided that?
Bromdor, from the sounds of it.
I don't want to go back to Bromdor.
I thought you wanted to kill that guy.
Was Cyrus around for that bit?
Oh, right, sorry. I shut up. Sorry, that's my bad. Sorry.
We will need to have that discussion, but Bromdor seems a reasonable next place that I would push for.
I need to relieve Claire, and I need to go back tonight. You might as well come with me.
Yeah, and it's probably better than here.
I'm not certain about that.
Well, bare minimum, with their,
At least it's probably not in the threat of being destroyed by a dragon. It's not immediate.
That depends on if Sivan has managed to earn the ire of the dragon in Arcosia yet.
I don't like that guy.
As I've said, we are of a mind on this. The Tabaxi, however, is going to crouch down in front of Jebel and run a long clawed finger like up your throat and under your chin, just sort of letting it kind of flick the end of your chin with a small scratching sound, and say, "This one thinks she knows the watering holes he would frequent. She can do a little espionage for you."
Yukikaze?
I'm not like super attached to my money, but it would be nice to have it back.
Wow.
He probably has more money than that too. We'll just take it all.
No,
Not right.
I only want back what's mine. That's
Hey, he stole from us first.
If you
That
can
doesn't
give
make it
this,
okay.
if you can give this one the night, she will have more information for you tomorrow.
Do we have the night?
Ideally, we would leave tonight.
You would leave without this one?
Hopefully.
Wow.
oh
You just
wow!
love any
Cat
people,
eyes
don't you,
are
there?
big and hers get bigger. And she looks dejectedly at you.
Leah's
Jebel.
throwing no punches.
Don't worry about it, Lynn. That one likes to abandon anyone. And everyone.
She really does.
Do not leave
She's
Lynn
not a team
here.
player.
She cannot
We
fend
won't
for
leave you that.
herself if the dragons
seems like-
return.
This is unfair. She's a crook. Why would we want her on our team? She would steal everything we own.
And did Vendar? She stands up, looking very indignant, like throwing throwing her shoulders back.
Like,
Says you choose
I
to
take
trust
offense to
Vendar,
that.
and he has the same occupation as this one.
yeah, Jebel just kind of like confused look on his face is just gesturing to Vendar. Like, what?
Has Vendar not proven to you that we can be good people who seek the well-being of others?
And she used to travel with a drow assassin.
Yeah.
Oh, sure,
Call
play
it
the
out.
Rowan card. That was other character, obviously.
Ron was really sweet though. Vendar hasn't really proven anything.
Hey,
I think he's proven something.
I think I've proven a lot.
You've proven a lot to me.
You've proven that you're good at hiding stuff I don't want you to hide.
Hey, we
He's good at
needed that.
killing
You were
things.
being all whiny. It's all of our bags, not just yours.
Do not
Oh yeah,
blame her, Vendar.
there's the powder, but there's also hiding the fact that you know this one, that the tools you have were stolen, that you arranged the
Hey.
killing of your own father.
I didn't know the tools were stolen. I was open about the killing of my father. He was a piece of shit.
I'm gonna go see an elf about a sword. Y'all have fun.
He was a monster if there ever was one. The world's a better place without him.
Yes, well, if anything, one of you is enough.
Perhaps
Like,
this is a
where-
bad
Before we leave.
time.
Why don't we go after that guy? And Jebel is like pointing to. He's doing that gesture in between Vendar, Lynn, and himself.
I think that we could. This one thinks that would be possible.
Yeah, let's go.
She looks sourly at Leah.
I pout back.
Which one's? Oh, that's Yukikaze.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Jebel just whispered, like, Yukikaze, how much did he take from you?
Well, I don't make a big deal of things, so I'll just tell you what he took from me. I had quite a few pouches on me. I believe this was everything. Oh wait, yeah. Well, I did have my bag with me too. So, 40 plat, 4 gold, 13 silver, and 10 copper.
It's a fair amount.
That is a significant amount of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a small amount of money. It's still...
Yeah,
that's
he took
why I
like,
told he's living large.
yeah, he took double that. Like, he took like 34 platinum off me. Or was it 30? I can't remember. Was it
35.
35.
Because that's the 35 platinum is what
Is-
you had been paid for that wooden doll.
Still
Yeah.
like 80 flat from us. I understand why you're pissed.
And my diamond dust.
Yes, your
From the,
diamond dust.
Hopefully Raiken will return soon, and hopefully the council will be ready to speak with us shortly.
Oh,
Oh no.
So they all
All right,
disappeared.
what about that?
I say add Leah and Yukikaze.
Yep.
I'm not, yeah, because I'm still here. I didn't go with him.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not that, like, yeah, I'm not attached to my money.
Wait,
but
did Cyrus go too?
Cyrus
Oh, Cyrus went to
excused
go see
himself
an
before
alphabet
they left. Anybody who has yet to benefit from a short rest may now do so, as this was about another hour of talking.
short rest. Short rest.
Short rest.
Take short rest. Confirm.
I should buy a dice tower.
A few minutes after they all depart the temple, Kalimdar and Naravar will find their way surreptitiously back to the table and sit down, kind of looking around at everybody, trying to gauge faces. Cal break the silence and said, Cal read books! They had so many words in them!
You can
would-
read?
Yes! Cal can read many languages.
When I said I went to see an elf without a sword, I meant Narvar, because I was hoping to try and learn what I can of his technique.
So, when you go to find him, it will be from you then that he finds that the group is at a more convenient state to be talked to or listened to, as opposed to however it was before. And so, as you begin to question him, he says, let's go rejoin them and we can talk there. And from there, yes, yes, Cal can read many languages. Cal can read dragon language and god language.
God language?
Yes, supernal. Cal is very good at supernal.
So, I never heard of that.
Cal could teach you.
I'm already learning 2 languages.
Aren't they fun?
Is
Tell
it
me.
related to Celestial?
Cal doesn't know Celestial. Teach Cal.
I also do not know Celestial.
He looks sad.
I
He
am
looks
sure
so
one of the
sad.
clerics- I am sure that one of the clerics here does know it, however. It was a very nice tiefling.
Would Raiken know Celestial?
I mean, probably. I think he has said that he does.
Yeah, but can Raiken teach Celestial?
He can teach Dragonborn. Well, try.
I'd like to see that, though, Raiken trying to teach Celestial the cow. I don't think it'd go well.
So, Naravar will cut in. Take it we're on speaking terms again. Do you have a plan for your next move and know how it will affect me and my goals? I'm somewhat tied to you at the moment, and he kind of gestures at Laramendus and Nalia.
Well, if we go into Bromdor, I assume you would follow.
Yes, I have been told there may be some more information I can find there. He nods at Nalia, and you can see that Nalia kind of just sort of, with her eyes still cast down, returns a nod. Slowly says, yes, I think that I do have some information that can help you on your journey. Excellent. So, when do we leave? When is your meeting with the council?
To the voice in the sky, he had pretty much said, "We'll find you," kind of thing.
Yeah, it was very up in the air.
Yeah. That was not made particularly clear to us, although it did seem urgent, so I imagine that they would push forward as quick as possible. But they have not yet come to fetch us.
Well, if it's anything like my world, I imagine that it's a bureaucracy, and you know how quickly those work.
Slow as
These are
peanuts.
also Goliaths, and they seem to have been pretty straightforward so far.
Indeed. You have some very strange Goliaths on your world, although it is fascinating, and I am intrigued to meet more of them.
Well, if you want to meet more, leaving here isn't exactly the way to do it.
It doesn't sound like that would be useful to what I intend to accomplish.
Indeed.
I have more important goals on the horizon. Now then, as to your question, you wanted to know about how I use my sword to cast magic?
Yes.
Indeed. Well, I can tell you, as I did begin to inform you before, that it is a tradition that comes from my world, but through the Feywild. So, if you could use the Feywild as I do to traverse the plains, you might be able to find the Order of the Spiral Tower. And they would be able to instruct you in the ways.
And there's no way you'd be able to teach me any of it? Or
well,
perhaps you're forbidden?
I suppose, first questions first, are you a wizard?
Sadly, no.
It is a wizard tradition, and it comes from deep study and wielding magic, and in our particular case, it comes equal parts from the arcane as it does the divine, as we give ourselves over to Corellin.
I'm kind of connected to the Feywild at the moment.
So it is possible that if you could go there, you might be able to traverse it and find the Spiral Tower. If one exists here in your dimension, or is close enough to, in the part of the Feywild you have access, else it could be a long and, as mine are, uncertain journey to find it. But
Lorelai, have you heard of this Spiral Tower?
let's find out.
I'm hearing a yes.
She, folds her arms across her chest and says, there have been stories. They're not warriors per se, but closer than most wizards. They don't play with fanciful magics as other Fae do. They gear themselves for war. And so, I've always liked the stories I heard. I've never seen a one of them. Supposedly they come from the deepest parts of the Feywild, hidden in the mists there. They are supposed, according to the stories, they build great ivory towers of unknown material. It could be ivory. It could not be. And they hole up there and study magics from all realms. Supposedly they have servants that bring them books from other dimensions. That's what the stories say, anyway. But I don't care much for books, so I've never had an interest in looking for them, and it's dangerous that deep in the Feywild. When you're that far from one of the city-states, you have no protection out there. The monsters could destroy you in a heartbeat. And,
Sounds fun.
Nervar will nod and say, "This is not untrue. The Spiral Tower does not owe allegiance to any one Fey house, and so they position themselves as far from any claimed territory as possible. They are very difficult to get to, and it's very dangerous. When I first visited, my father brought me there on owlbears that we had raised ourselves. They were our primary means of protection. Most Fey creatures won't mess with an owlbear. So, if you get yourself some owlbears, perhaps you have a way of getting there more easily, but you'd still need to find the place, and I do not know with certainty that one exists in proximity to your realm. But it is a worthy goal," and he'll kind of smile at Cyrus and say, "Anybody could learn to become anything, I suppose. If you apply yourself." Does that help?
It does. I do have one more question, though.
Alright.
Since you said it took a lot of study, is it something that could be attainable for one of my lifespan? As I'm aware, that's rather different for you.
That is a worthy question. It looks to me like you are still quite young, even for your race.
Indeed.
I know humans who are members of the Spiral Order. So I would say that it is quite possible, even if you were to start now. But
Perhaps I'll be able to find it, if we can live through this mess.
Or it could be, safe haven from this mess.
When our whole world burns, we can just go there.
Hopefully the former, but I'll take the latter if the former is not possible.
I think it would be best if you aimed for the former. But I think that's just the former retired hero in me. I do miss it. But all stories must end. And mine, I believe, is nearing its conclusion, which is much more of a relief than you may realize.
Some stories may end, but some others leave room for a sequel.
I've never found that the sequel lives up. Sometimes you just gotta stop writing when you're doing well.
Fair enough.
In any event, I don't imagine I would have an opportunity to try to take you there. If what I seek is not on this world, I may be leaving via the Feywild, but I don't think it would be wise of me to invite you along, since it seems you've got other business to attend to.
Indeed.
And I don't know where I'd end up. It is likely that I would not come anywhere near another Spiral Tower for some time. It's odd. I've not sought them out, but I've also never landed at another one. For all the worlds I've jumped across, I used the Feywild to do it. And with the uncertainty in the landing, I would have imagined that at some point in my hundreds of jumps so far, I would have found one. Well, not a certainty.
Perhaps there's some sort of spell or shielding that prevents people from walking into them by accident.
If that were the case, I bet you I would be able to see it more easily. And as he looks at you, you do see that there are swirls of magic current within his eyes, not unlike those of the bird he travels with.
Right. Forgot you mentioned that. Who knows? Could be luck.
Could be. So, I do wish you luck.
Well,
But
bare minimum, I may have a lead with Leah's connection to the Feywild, but that is for another time.
indeed. Alright. So, you converse quietly with Naravar about this, as the rest of the table sort of looks on. Kalimdar is just sort of twiddling his thumbs uncomfortably every now and then, looking over at Nalion Laramandus, but not saying anything. And then you hear the telltale sound of boots on the hard floors coming towards you. And a trio of Goliaths wearing armor in the colors of the city are going to step out from between the stacks and say, "We're looking for the Order of the Sacred Flame."
Well, about half of it's over here. Not quite sure where the other half is.
The High Council is ready to meet with you now. I recommend you get the rest of your group as quickly as possible. We will escort you as you find them.
I look over at Laramandus.
May I perform sendings to inform them that they should meet us here, as that's the easiest way to, or meet us where they need to meet us, as that's the easiest way to gather them.
They're going to converse with each other, like, behind their shields for a moment. And at this, Kalimdar's finally going to stand and say, "I am a ranking member of the Mages Guild for Tuka, and I can oversee the casting of this spell." At which point they will lower their shields and look him up and down, and then, after a grave moment, nod. Professor, you may proceed with your spell.
Thank you. To the guards, did you want them to meet us here and we will all head where we need to together, or is there a different place that you would like them to meet us at?
And another of the guards was like, "Well, if you can have them meet us here, we would be able to escort you all at once, and that would make it simple."
Excellent. There go my fucking 5th level spell slots.
Well, the last one just sort of shakes his head, and you hear, "Mages."
Does, like, I'm looking at Larry Mendes. Does he look like...
I look drained.
Yeah.
More dead inside than usual.
That's impressive.
Yeah. My eyebrows, still aren't back.
Just shave some hair off Kubril. Use that. Just glue it to your face.
Kinda gross.
Why the sovereign glue?
Always sovereign glue. I feel like I've missed something.
Check the chat.
So much sniping at the little angry fairy.
Fairy?
The sprite. Because she didn't like books.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh no! Wait, does that mean he can't unmute? No, he's unmuted.
No, I can talk. I just can't mute myself anymore. I guess I can probably still mute myself via Discord.
Wait, what?
Cats, they suck. You can read that out loud.
Yeah, I was sitting here petting my cat, and it goes up, and it just bites my mic, and it just broke the mute button on it.
That's what all those noises were a minute ago.
Yep. Yeah, I was trying to fix it. He did it, and then I was trying to fix it, and it's broken.
That's amazing. Go ahead, Lair.
So I performed 2 sendings. Both of them had the same text. One to Raiken and one to Cyrus. No, not Cyrus is here. Jebel. I think Jebel is the... No, wait, no.
You think Jebel is the
Yukikaze is there. I sent it to Yukikaze.
You're looking for the most responsible member of the group.
Who is going to actually do this for me? And it says, "Please meet us at the Temple of Ione. Guards are here to escort us to our meeting with the council." Should have been with the council, but that would have brought it to 26 words, I guess, because this is 25. Arrive as quickly as you can, and this typo is fine.
Yeah, you must have. So your options are Jebel, Lynn.
Yeah, Yukikaze and Raiken are the ones that I sent to.
Why, but Yukikaze's at the table.
I'm right next to you.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Fine, it's Jebel then.
That's
Yukikaze just looks up and goes, "I am here." What?
Yuki, we really need some art of your
I
character.
was like, fuck, now I need to use another spell slot.
we got too many Ewoks.
For what all the amounts were and all that. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So you tell Jebel to meet you at the Temple of Ione. Jebel, you may respond in up to 25 words, telling him how important it is that you find your money.
Does he hear the message? Is it like...
It happens inside your brain.
So he would get like tone.
Yeah, it's a telepathic communication that is 25 words long.
Okay, so he gets back. Fine.
Bye.
There's just 24 spaces in it.
Fine.
The longest fine ever.
You can literally hear him sigh in the...
Yeah.
Raiken, you may also respond or simply get up and go now that you've received a message.
Please respond.
Let's see. On my way. Had so many awesome battles.
I'm fucking bloodbath.
And then he ends with, "The day was mine."
Wait, There you go. Now those are
Awesome.
entered into the archive. Yeah. Okay. So you get up, like, he's just started, like, preparing the meal at this point after the meditation. And you're just like, you get this message.
Do you verbalize your message as you respond back to me? Or do you keep it all in your head?
So you're just sitting there quietly and suddenly burst out with that message.
Raiken?
I feel like he. I mean, even though he's been sent before,
I don't know if I've ever actually sent to Raiken. He would be aware that you just think the words at.
Yeah, and I mean, he's like, we've done like the telepath enough that I feel like he would understand that sending's.
It is different from the telepathy, but similar. It's in the same vein, but it functions differently. Because the telepathic bond you've been using just lets you free speak. This is, you get 25 words, and once you get 25 words, it stops sending.
I feel like he'd be able to do it correctly, but like once his mind goes to that, he no longer like matches what Kurag was doing.
Yes. And I'm saying that when you receive the message, Kurag has recently finished the meditation and has begun, like, setting a fire and getting ready to have his simple meal.
Then Raiken will get up and go over to him, pat him on the shoulder, and be like, "Seems I have been summoned."
The Hardash wants to speak to you, then.
Yes, so I gotta go deal with that.
Yeah. I wish you luck, lad. It just means more rice for Kurag tonight. But, if you find you're still in the city after, come find me.
Very well, brother. Keep the Temple of Cord strong here.
Oh, I've many warriors, and he gestures broadly with one hand as he's continuing to stir his pot with the other. Many people who will keep us strong for generations to come. For the honor of Cord.
For the honor of Cord!
And he thumps the breast of his armor and reaches out and pats your shoulder as you go.
Raiken will also beat his chest and kind of like do like a strong arm, kind of like grab, like they grab each other.
You're gonna do the predator handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need that image up. God, I remember Dutch, but I don't remember the other guy's name.
What was his name?
Yeah, I
You've
can't
been pushing too many pencils.
You son of a bitch. It takes Raiken a while to get back over to you. He's got a ways to go.
Just a little bit.
Jebbles is fine. So I understand.
do tell them.
Jebbles gonna go. What are you gonna do with Vendar and Lynn?
I'm going to tell them we have to go back to the temple.
What do we need at the temple?
Someone wants to meet us.
Do they wish to meet with this one or just you?
Probably just us.
This one could continue her investigation and bring you whatever news she finds once you are done meeting with this someone.
Be careful, that guy can read minds.
Yes, this one is well aware of his abilities. That is why she will find more indirect avenues to obtain the information she seeks. But this one appreciates that you worry about her.
Yeah.
And she disappears into the crowds. It's very clear at this point.
Fucking stone. Ew.
I don't really like this town.
I don't either. This place sucks. Stole all our shit.
Can't do magic.
I miss Edmundgard. They like us
Sand everywhere.
Edmundgard was distrustful of magic too.
Yeah, but we saved Edmundgard and they liked us.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't like us here.
You didn't save them.
I mean, we tried. No one else did.
Okay, so
Which one was Evangard?
Jebel wasn't there for that. So are you asking Vendar?
Out of character. I'm trying to remember which one was Evangard.
The place where you started with all the snow.
Yeah.
You guys
With
went
the-
after a bunch of
The
orcs.
king's sister after the
Yeah.
I remember. We killed all the orcs. Vendar stabbed the one in the junk when he.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
I remember that.
No one will ever forget that.
No, it's
I was shoving your dick in Vendar's face.
It was only 3 years ago.
Oh my God. It's only 3.
no, it's just I thought it was the name. I was trying to remember like what city was called Evangard.
It was the city was Dragon's
Dragon's
Heart.
Oh, yeah. It's dragged.
I remember the name of the city. It was just I forgot the name of
The country. Yes, the country was Ebengard. You started in Dragon's Hearth, you went out in the woods, and you saved the king from his sister who was trying to usurp his throne.
Still think she's gonna come back one day.
Someday.
Turns out she's behind the dragons.
Maybe. You
Yeah, she nearly wiped the party with her cone of coal.
That was the best cone of cold ever.
Oh my gosh.
Now, let's see. Did I... I know that I planned to, but did I actually do it?
I wanted to ask, did Raiken actually get a short rest even though he was, like, concentrating on meditating exactly like Kura?
Nope.
Nope. Great. Awesome.
You were focusing so hard on trying to imitate him. Like
You weren't restful
it
at
takes
all.
it takes a lot of energy to be this relaxed.
God damn it.
So, you are led through the streets. You find that you recognize the area where you met the Platinum Sentinels. Many of the buildings here are damaged by acid.
Is this Raiken or us or the other group?
Raiken's... Like, this is after you all regroup.
Oh, we've all got back together. Oh.
Yeah, and then the guards lead you across the city. Unless... I'm sorry, I did kind of quickly skip ahead. Is there important discussion you wanted to have when you showed up?
Oh no, I was just I didn't realize that you had skipped ahead.
Yes, sorry about that. I skipped a little. Dwarf, do I have any?
Skippity-boo.
Skippity
Isn't his
bippity.
name like Bennings?
What?
The guy in Predator. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Halflings and humans. And drows.
Dylan.
Oh my.
Noblemen.
Halflings, humans, and drow. Oh my.
Theron Lightfoot.
You know, Peter Cullen provided the voice of the Predator.
I didn't know that.
So I watched a video of how he came up with the sound that the Predator makes. He said because when they it took some convincing for the studio to show him what the Predator was going to look like.
Oh.
Because it was like they wanted him to do monster noises.
Monster noises.
Because he was in the video, he was saying he had just done like King Kong.
Okay.
And so they wanted him to do this monster noise for the Predator, and he was saying like, I need to see the monster, to come up with the noise that goes. And they're like, no, you can't see the monster. And like, he was like, listen, if I can't see the monster, I can't come up with a sound for it. Like, I can't come up with anything that would fit. And like, no, you can't see it. And he said, okay, fine, then there's no point in me being here. They're like, okay, hold on. And then they come back and they show him the scene at the end where the Predator takes off his mask.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I saw this thing, and he was saying, like, it reminded him of, I think he said it was a horseshoe crab or something like that. He said he saw when he was a child dying in the sand. And he said it was making this noise as like these bubbles were coming out of it and crackling.
Oh.
And he was saying that's what he started to do. He got that clicking noise.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Sound. Oh, that's where you went. Look what's going on there. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to quickly get a couple of tokens in here. No.
Tokens and two.
Do people not believe in clothing?
You know the original design for the Predator was like a giant praying mantis?
Didn't know that.
And it was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Huh.
Like, he actually filmed a couple of scenes, but apparently it just looked ridiculous. So they...
It sounds like it would.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean, like, I think you can look it up. I think you can go onto YouTube, and I think they have, like, some of the early footage that they shot before they went back and replaced it.
Oh.
The redesign. It did. It looked weird. It was like a weird praying mantis thing. It was a very rubbery kind of...
Rubbery. We're taking our life in our hands here. Oh, what just happened? Do that. Oh, that'll work. Just grab a section here. When I take art from online, I try to make sure that I include the watermarks so that if I ever get close enough, like the person's signature is there,
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what did I do? Oh, I know what I have to do. File. Add resource to library. Path. Pictures. Inside of Screen Hunter. This one. Okay. This should be slightly safer. I've started breaking down my Screen Hunter folders by year, rather than just having one big Screen Hunter folder.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one caused problems. Oops, cancel. And I came up with names and like some backstory for all of these guys. We'll see if any of it matters. We're just gonna have to grab tin again. Most Oh, we already did. Okay, never mind. That's right, human female. Okay. We already did. Okay. Well, you know what? This is a good excuse to get some other things that I need. So...
You know Dennis Quaid and Randy Quaid are brothers.
I don't know that I knew that.
I didn't know that. I found it out recently. Someone mentioned it in a podcast. I was like, they look nothing alike.
It's unfortunate that sometimes people don't sign their work. I'm like, I grabbed the image. It's like, wait, there's no signature on here. Oh boy. You are... Right. At least I get to get all noble images for them. That's fun. Noble's dress fun. And mostly without weapons. Stop having weapons. That'll do.
Ceremonial.
Yeah, right.
Decorative.
Decorative weapons.
The Second Amendment to Tuca.
What?
No. It'd be like the fourth or fifth. Because first three amendments are all just no magic. No, we mean it. No magic.
The second rule of Tuca.
Do I have to repeat myself?
You do not cast magic in Tuca. Alright. Good news is I only need 2 more. Sorry. It's been kind of... My brain's been on hiatus. Eh. This one. What was your name? Right. And then 1 left. And then hopefully nobody dies. Because that would be just terrible. Sincerely.
Yeah?
Well, thanks for that anxiety dump.
It's the old Paladin image I used to use on Facebook when I used that website.
Let's find Derek. Ron's not here.
That doesn't
Your point?
mean he doesn't have to roll the saving throws.
Rowan, make a death saving throw. You're in a bad situation.
Only works when he does it.
Let's see.
So you don't need to roll that anymore. You're no longer in control of that character.
Yeah, but it's
For
funny.
now.
For now.
For now. Alright, well, this one is the best I'm seeing so far. So, that's the one we got. And you also have a name. Okay, so you are brought into this chamber deep within this building. It is a wide chamber, like a courtroom, and ahead of you on this raised platform behind, this bench, much like a judge might preside, are 7 people. And you can see that these 7 people represent 1 male and 1 female from each of the 3 primary races of the city, half orc, half giant, and tiefling, and one at the center, one female human.
That's strange. Did not expect to see that.
And
Yeah,
so,
don't they hate humans?
as you enter the room, and the guards, escort you up in front of this raised bench and stop, one of them calls out to the assembled councilmen and says, "We present to the assembled council for their approval the Order of the Sacred Flame."
And friends.
Well, they don't know. And Stone is going to stand and say, "It will be the goal of this council to determine the disposition of the city toward the Order of the Sacred Flame, in how much we are debt to them for their services here, and what we shall be doing with the items that they illicitly brought into the city." And he sits, and the other Goliath rises and says, "It may benefit these visitors to our city to understand to whom it is they speak. So for your benefit, I shall introduce us. I am Lily. I represent the female demographic of half-giants within the city of Tuca. My counterpart, Stone, you already know. He represents the male demographic of half-giants within the city. You are also by now aware that he is in charge of determining how the city will deal with magic items that come into the city. To my left is the female tiefling representative, Venli, and beyond her is Ula, who represents our female half-orc brothers and sisters. On the other side, beyond Stone, we have the male representative of our tieflings, Silthus, and the male representative of half-orcs, Gorath. Nan, I have seen the looks you have given us. She eyes Leah, who stands at the back, and says, "May I introduce the first human member of the council? Her name is Sasha, and she is representing all interests bearing not to one of the represented races, most especially humans who may reside in the city. This is so that we may make judgments in fairness to all who reside in the city." And she will sit. And the tiefling male Silthus will get up. He will look over the group and rub his chin with an interested look on his face as his pupilless cat-like yellow eyes play across you. He says, "It has come to our attention that you have perhaps done a great service to the city. We have been informed by Mr. Stone that you challenged the dragon Shisharan when she threatened the city. What have you to say to that?"
I'll look around and see if anyone's looking to speak up real quick.
We did confront her.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Please, go on.
She was not defeated and she left.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Gnome, you had something to add?
No.
My mistake. Now then, it has also been brought to our attention that before the Black Dragon Shisharan left the city bounds, she was seen with another dragon of equal or greater size, of a blue persuasion. Is that true?
It is.
And is it also true that they shared a conversation in your presence?
They did.
Do you know the content of this conversation?
I believe we all do. I know that I do, for sure.
And can you confirm that it includes finding more dragons and returning to the city in force?
I can confirm that it involves meeting their older brother, and I don't know if they'll be coming all back in force, but the Black Dragon Shisharan did say she was coming back at some point.
Yeah, she did not say anything about bringing others with her. More sounded like she just wants to claim this place for herself.
We know not whether she be coming alone, with her siblings, or with a brood of some type.
And what is your involvement with this dragon? How long have you known about its existence?
About 20 minutes before it showed up, something like that.
Out of character. Did we know about, like, would people have known about her?
With the strictest definition of know about, yes. It is. She is
Like,
a topic
how
that people
long?
could know about.
Yeah, like, how long have you known about her? Like, oh,
Do you want to be
8,
pedantic
9
in your answer to the guy, or do you want to answer the question that he's asking? Is the question that you should be asking yourself.
And you're asking that of Jebel.
No, Jebel is asking that of himself. I can't tell Jebel one way or the other if he wants to be like, well, I mean, I remember my mom telling me stories.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly acceptable answer. If you would like to give that answer, give it.
What answer do you give, Jebel?
It would be along those lines. Like, I first heard about this dragon whenever, but I don't know when Jebel heard about it.
Okay. I mean, you lived in Aspara before this. There were tales in childhood about, monsters in the forest that eat people. You can figure that might have referred to Bala, given the location and time frame. But, other monsters are mentioned, usually not by name. Variants of the names, Shisharan might have become something else sounding monstrous. Like, Laramanda's story about Hela.
Oh, yeah.
Know about this dragon in particular. It could have been from childhood. But again, these stories are all mixed and mingled, and myths and legends and BS all become truth eventually. As far as the people are concerned.
Right.
So yes, you can say that you had heard of her since childhood, at which point he will refine his question and say, very well, then can you tell me how long you've been aware that this particular dragon has been awake this time round?
How long ago did she attack?
I
Several
state the
hours.
time of day that we found out because I know.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 hours ago at this point.
Yeah, that information is relatively new.
Can you be more specific than relative? Is it today?
Laramandus said the time of the day today.
I see.
Like 8:43 a.m., kind of like as accurate as he could get.
And you would be referencing the moment when Dusty gave you the information about the Dragon Rising?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, that
We're
was like
immediately attacked.
2:30 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. So
As my memory serves me, it was about two. It
It
was right
seems
about
reasonable.
2:15 when you got into the building after taking Leah's shortcut.
yeah, because it was noon that they all got up,
Yeah.
and then they had to get ready and then come to fetch me and then convince me that it was worth being fetched.
Yep. And then go across the city, which took like 45 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how we got there. So you give him that time.
I imagined some super specific time, like 2:31:27.
And do you have any reason to believe that the source of your information about the dragon, as it seems to precede the time that we were attacked, had anything to do with the dragon attacking?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
You do not believe that your source of information about the dragon would have intended for this attack to occur?
No.
Very well.
It is my understanding that they were attempting to prevent something like this happening.
That is interesting. And what do you know about this source, then? What can you tell me? Convince me that they did not have anything to do with this. I'm running under the assumption at this point that you have not used the term Platinum Sentinels or Dusty.
I have not.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else thinks that they have.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
9.
I'm letting the grown-ups speak.
If anyone has this, he's treating this like all of the people here have been treating this like open forum, with the exception of that they are taking turns to ask questions. So they have not shown any malcontent with people who speak out of turn among you. If you have something to say, you can know that your character feels they can say it safely.
I believe they called themselves the Platinum Sentinels. Is that correct? I turn to Laramon just to confirm that I'm not saying the wrong name here.
Yes, that's the name that they were referring to themselves as.
It's an order founded by Shagrazir, the one who originally dealt with Trissarin. So I would doubt someone of their order would seek her return.
Well, that is what the fairy tales say. Now, if all of that is true, that is another matter entirely. Very well. Seeing as I do not have the means to prove or disprove what you have said at this time, I will take it at face value, and thank you for it. He seems to pause a moment in thought again, formulating questions on the end of his tongue before shaking his head and looking to his left, nodding and sitting, at which point the orc female, Ula, will rise, and she'll say, "Let me cut to the heart of the question. Did you have anything to do with this dragon coming to find us and destroy our city?"
No.
Nope. Not at all.
Nope.
What did you seek in challenging this dragon, as Stone has told us?
To save the city.
To protect as many people as we could.
Do you feel you were successful?
It's gone.
To what we were dealing with,
Yeah,
yes. For our current capabilities.
Do you feel you were successful?
I do.
Does anyone
we were
else feel they were
successful
successful? In achieving your goal, protecting the city and preventing loss of life, as you have stated.
Yes, I believe we were successful.
Yeah, but I would have liked to kill her, but, you know.
If the city were to have need like this again, would you stand in her defense?
If we were
Standing
here.
defense.
If you were not here, where would you be?
We have to gather resources to fight this threat.
So
More
you intend to
specifically-
continue seeking out the dragons, is what you are telling me, and this
Yes.
council.
Yes.
First, we intend to seek out the other pieces of the armor of Bahamut, so that we may have a stronger chance on our own.
It's the only way
need
we
more of the
have a chance of beating
scales.
them.
We also need the scales used to capture them in the first place.
She's going to kind of waver a little bit uneasily and look to her right, at which point, Stone will stand, and she will kind of, like, breathe a little sigh of relief and sit down. Some will say, according to the research of my magical division, this armor of Bahamut is supposedly kept in Arcosia for just such an occasion. Now then, can you not go to Arcosia and retrieve it?
Is Yukikaze wearing it right now?
Yes.
Jebel will just kind of point at Yukikaze.
You see, Arcosia was the first place the dragons hit.
Arcosia has fallen.
We had heard, of course. And he kind of, like, centers his view on the Dragonborn and says, you have the greatest condolences that I or my city can offer you, of course. But if that is the case, then how will you get this thing you seek? These items?
So we've been to Arcosia. We got some of them, but some of the pieces were stolen. We believe by Drow. So we're gonna have to travel into the Underdark to retrieve them.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And so you would have this council believe that you are going to risk life and limb to go and find these priceless magic items wherever they have been absconded with, retrieve them, and then risk life and limb again to face these dragons which no one has been able to defeat.
Well, we risked life and limb earlier today without them.
That's what we've been doing the whole time. We risked life and limb to go find the armor cord.
Stone can confirm that these adventurers speak true. They have risked life and limb multiple times in his presence. Let the record show. On this, they are correct.
Sometimes I think since I joined this group, I've risked life and just getting up to get breakfast.
Yeah, it's a dangerous life.
I'm following the guidance of Bahamut.
The human woman is going to stand and nod to Stone, who will take his seat again. And she'll say in a somewhat softer voice, especially in comparison to the more monstrous voices before you, and these other magic items that were found in your possession, where did you obtain them?
I
Some of
believe
them-
most of them are from Garland. Oh, sorry. You wish to speak?
Some of them we've obtained through our travels, but most of them we got from the Vault of Garland when we went and retrieved the Armor of Cord.
Which we seeked to fight the current threat.
And at the time that you brought them into the city, were you aware that there was strict laws against such contraband?
No, we did not
No,
know
we
at
were
all.
not.
We were not. We were aware that casting magic within the city without permission was frowned upon, but not about any such ban on items themselves.
She looks over at Stone, who just kind of averts his gaze. So you were not informed that you had to register these items and inform the city for what purpose they were being brought in before you were brought here?
Correct.
Very well. Most of the people of the city are not aware of the contents of the conversation that was had between the dragons before they left. Some are, but we have made strides to control that information. It would be the wish of this council that you also refrain from widely sharing the contents of that conversation. However long it is those dragons are gone is more time than the city knows it has, and we are going to use that time as best we can. We cannot risk a panic. Do you understand?
Crystal clear.
I understand. However, I may point out one slight flaw. I will gesture to Lerman and say, he is the champion of Ione, and thus may not be able to keep such a secret.
I'm fairly confident that at least one of the clerics that was around healing people probably heard the conversation anyway, but its contents will be conveyed to the temple.
We have an arrangement with the Temple of Ione. The information will come out when it is safest. This isn't keeping secrets, scholar. She looks pointedly at you. This is damage control.
Well, we could also consider Lerman's. We also think of it as
I'll not very as soon as she said that there's an agreement about things, then I'm like, yeah, that checks. That makes sense. I feel that that's probably reasonable. I am going to the voice in the sky. I am going to make sure that the clerics are aware of the information and all of that.
That's completely fair.
But that seems a reasonable thing that the council would have sought to me, with the temple, because they would have come to the same conclusion as me of someone heard it that knows the language.
It does seem like they are quite well informed of the situation.
Yeah.
You can draw what conclusions you wish.
Yeah, so as soon as she had made clear that she wasn't trying to hide something explicitly, I'm nodding agreement, because it does make sense to me.
Thank you for your understanding. And she will nod to her left, and the tiefling female will rise. And she'll say, I think the last thing we need to know is, how will you conduct yourselves in the city in the remainder of your time here? Will you be helping us to rebuild? Do you have other places you need to go? What is the situation? You said you wish to go seek these items. Is there something that we can do to help facilitate that?
As far as I'm aware, the only things that we could use from you to help facilitate that would be to allow us to keep what was apparently contraband that we brought into the city.
She smiles a little.
Increasing our chances of survival in the search for the artifacts.
The council is yet to fully deliberate the disposition of the items that you brought in, but I can tell you, and she looks to her left and then back to her right, and all of the council members make eye contact with her, that so far things are looking favorable.
That is all I ask.
You will have our final verdict later tonight. Where are you staying that we might send a guard?
I'll give them the name of the place we're staying, and I'll
The
say
Silver Dragon Inn.
we were staying at the Silver Dragon Inn, and I suppose we'll stay there still if it's in one piece or close enough.
The Silver Dragon Inn suffered some acid damage, but according to the guards, it should be a serviceable building. It was not on our list of buildings that could not be used. It is a very long list.
Indeed. In regards to your question of what we'll be doing while we're here, I intend, excuse me, I intend to attempt to help with repairs as much as possible while we're here. I have the ability to magically create walls of stone, and I've expended all I can helping today with what was left after encountering the dragon.
Yes, Stone informed us of this manner in which you helped. The city of Tuka is grateful. We would, of course, accept more help, and it would, of course, reflect positively on your group.
I'll do all I can.
May we ask where your next destination is? Again, perhaps there is other ways in which we can be of service to at least repay what you have done.
What is our next goal?
I believe it was discussed that we were heading to Ramdar. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct.
I believe that is our next immediate destinations.
The harbor is unfortunately severely damaged, but it is very high on our priority list of places to be repaired. And once it is, we will be recommencing trade with the neighbor nations. This, of course, includes Bromdor, as we are the hub of all trade. This makes us uniquely able to help you if you want it. We can provide passage on one of our boats once the boats are prepared to sail. That could be a few days from now. We can also put in word with the harbor masters where you would arrive, if this would help you.
I'll be looking at Larry Mendes because, I'm thinking to myself, are we teleporting?
I'm going to look at the group and see if any of them have anything to say.
I'm going to raise an eyebrow at Nalia.
She looks back at you out the corner of her eye, seems to defocus on you, and then looks back in and says, "Really? You want me to speak to them? I'm not even... Fine. Honorable members of the High Council of Tuga, we thank you for your generous offer of assistance in getting to Bromdor. Being that I am a member of the Mages Guild, and also... And she kind of, flourishes out a quick curtsy. Archmage to the King of Bromdor, Lord Raiken. I have a way of returning this group there instantaneously with me, so that should not be necessary. And the whole council kind of, double takes at this. And the tiefling, after a moment, seems to find her voice again and says, "I was unaware that we were in the presence of such nobility. It was not brought to our attention that you had entered the city by any means. How came you here?" Nalia looks extraordinarily uncomfortable and says, "It is the purview of the Mages Guild to move members whence they will, from city to city where they best serve the needs of the guild. My services were needed at the guild hall here, and so I came. You will find that that is perfectly within the regulations that you placed on the Mages Guild before we set up any chapter here." The tiefling again puts on her small, satisfied smile and says, "Ah, yes. Very good. Well then, unless there is further you wish to ask of us, we thank you for your cooperation in this investigation, and thank you for your service to the city. The risk you took to yourself is as meaningful as the departure of the dragon, as we do understand that it was not necessarily a direct result of your involvement. This is one time where we believe your heart was in the right place, and we respect that."
One thing I would ask,
Speak.
Bromdor is currently waging a war, and being a trade capital, I would expect you to hold some political sway. If you could try to get Lord Seven to see that it's in his best interests to call back his armies in case a dragon shows up there, it would be most appreciated, for all the strength will be needed across the land if people wish to survive.
As you're expounding, there is a visible clamor going through the council members before you, as they lean back and forth to share these secret messages with each other, whispering back and forth, and from each whisper rises another chuckle until the whole group is kind of mirth is the word I'm looking for. There is a good deal of mirth in the group before you, and they say, Stone stands up and says, "Yes, the city of Tuka enjoys its position as a trade hub of the world, principally because it does not take sides in any conflict. It is the policy of the city to remain as uninvolved as is feasibly possible. In this way, we suffer no ill effects of any of these conflicts that the other nations are involved in. We can trade freely with either side. If we were to do as you ask and try to exert political pressure on Bromdor, it would compromise our neutral position and likely drag us into a war that we do not have the resources to fight, nor the will."
I understand. Consider my request was rescinded.
Well, Cyrus, we could just have them, or the council, you could just pass on the word and let people know through the trade that you were attacked by a dragon, the city, if that doesn't cause any problems. Might make them think about it.
I'm sure that information would travel quickly and organically anyway.
True,
Yeah.
that is a fair point.
It's like nobody's gonna know that the city was attacked. I think it's gonna be pretty talked about.
The council has one job, and that is to preserve the interests and well-being of the citizens. We will not take any action which would risk a decrease in the quality of life of the citizens of Tuka. We will help in any other material way that we can.
Okay. That's...
Yeah, I think the best way you could help would be just allowing us to keep our things.
Your argument has been heard and is being taken into consideration, and the council will deliberate shortly. You will have our answer before the night is out. You have the word of Stone.
Okay.
Well, thank
The
you.
word that Stone needs from you is that you will continue to refrain from casting magic within the city's limits until such time as you leave.
We thank you very much for your time, Council.
And the council will thank you for your word. Your word?
Oh, sorry. Yes, we will
Of course.
abide. We will abide.
Will
Yeah.
abide.
The only magic I intend to cast is that which I am permitted by the guards, if I may, to help with the repair efforts.
Very good. Well then, on behalf of the High Council of Tuka, I, Stone, thank you for your service to the city, your willingness to cooperate in spite of being roguish adventurers, and the time you have given to speaking with us here today. You will hear from us before the night is out. You are dismissed.
I'll bow or whatever is appropriate.
You do the appropriate gesture. As
I
the guards...
curtsy.
Okay, you
I
curtsy.
curtsy.
Yes, sorry. I understood the moment after I said what. The guards will once again close in and escort you out of this large building. Okay.
Once we're out of the building, do you guys think I pushed too much initially asking that? Because, I mean, I was just hoping for something to help us there.
Well, you're just generally concerned about everyone, and that's good.
Hopefully it doesn't count against us, especially since I did try to make clear that once I understood what I was asking, I was no longer asking it.
Yeah. I had a
just felt
thought.
like giving my gun back.
Of course you did. Laraminus, I had a thought with Ione. I forget if you mentioned or like if I misunderstood before. Is like it's not wrong not to tell some. Like you don't have to give them information that they don't ask for, right? So like if no one asks you about
a lie by omission is a lie.
well, it's not. No, I'm not talking about lying, but like, do you just have to feed extra information? Just like if it's not part of the topic or part of a conversation. Oh, by the way,
Anything you learn, you gotta tell.
If
Yeah,
I needed to do that, I would get nothing done. Because I have many bits of information that most people are not privy to. I have lived a long time.
Well, that's what I was kind of curious about. So, like, in the situation where they tell you not to say anything, or they ask you not to, as long as no one, like, specifically asks you, do you know this, or asks something that would require that answer, it's fine not to say anything, right?
In this situation, I'm going to defer to the will of the clerics, who have a much deeper understanding of the teachings of Ione than I do, as that's part of their job. And so I will confer with them and verify that this understanding that was stated by the council is in fact an understanding. And if so, that seems reasonable enough to me. And if it is not clear to them, then they will have the information that we can currently assume that they already have.
I think they're bending the rules, Scholar.
That does seem to be the case.
Sorry,
I do not think that it is necessarily in the most direct spirit of everything, but that is one of the reasons why I would prefer to confer with the clerics.
I was just kind of curious. That was all, because like I didn't know, like if something wasn't asked, you just say, "Hey, yeah, there's this," and then like you totally crush someone's spirit or make them depressed by what you just said. Is like,
I mean, they might be slightly more put off in the moment, but in the long run, having that knowledge earlier on will probably be beneficial.
Okay. That was just a thought that I wanted to ask.
I have a question for Nalia.
Okay.
You've, being the Archmage, I assume you've known Lord Sivan for quite some time.
Only most of his life.
Do you
Sorry for you.
think news of this attack would slow him down at all?
Do I think this attack would slow him down at all?
Like, news of this attack, like him learning that the dragons really are going after more cities.
No. No, this would be a boon to him, because any disruption in the trade here is a disruption to the trade in places that he's attacking.
Fair point.
And before marching on them, he already had secured the supplies he needed, so that if supply trains were disrupted, he would already have at least enough to continue the campaign he had started. He is not a stupid man. He just makes poor decisions, in my opinion.
He's just an evil warmongering piece of shit.
For once, I'm with Vendar on this.
He does seem to relish conquest.
Well, I suppose that's a problem for a different day.
Maybe it's a problem for tonight if we get to leave tonight.
Right. Yeah.
Jump right into it, huh?
We'll find out next time.
On Everybody Loves Raiken.
Heyo. Alright, so 700 XP.
Woo!
Yay.
Someone
getting
dinged.
there.
I leveled.
Oh, someone was dinged.
Congrats to both of you.
We have our first 12th level characters.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
seeing that 6-digit XP.
I'll make it there eventually. It's only gonna take
Oh, a feat.
4 or 5 more sessions.
That's it.
So, you know,
That's-
month.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
actually
yeah.
do the level up tomorrow. I'm just gonna leave this open because I'm too tired to bother doing that now.
Alright. Well, thank you guys. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Yep.
Find out if I have 2 stream videos to deal with for this week. I hope not.
Woo!
No.
Oh yeah, can I get inspiration?
What's the argument this time?
If someone's in trouble, I'm always ready to lend help. Trying to cease the war, you know, building walls to help with the reconstruction here.
I mean, you were trying to elicit help for it, but I'll allow it.
Alright.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Okay. Alright then. Thank you everybody for showing up, and we'll see you next week.
Wait, what do I get?
Love